West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey is urging West Virginians to be vigilant ahead of the expected extreme cold and winter weather. According to a press release from the governor's office, the state of West Virginia is currently under a state of emergency that was originally issued on January the 5th, 2025. The state of emergency allows the West Virginia Emergency Management Division to ready personnel and resources for quick response to any emergency that may develop. Coordinating agencies have been placed on standby to report to the State Emergency Operations Center should the need arise. Governor Morrisey and the WVEMD ask that all West Virginians remain attentive to weather conditions through local media reports and to follow any instructions issued by emergency officials.